Climate change is something that has become very much a hot button topic in the modern world. And I don't really think that it has to be. I think this is a good example of the tribalism and the politicization of a topic that is meant to divide rather than meant to find a solution. And what I mean by that is this. Climate change is simply fact. We have observed it. We see it happening. As a matter of fact, we have records of it happening back for hundreds and thousands of years in estimates. There's reliable data on this from sources such as NASA and other institutions and universities. What we've seen in the past is something like a graph with a wave curve, where we see that the climate heats and cools with relative reliability. I think that this is agreed upon by most people who have viewed the data. However, what is not agreed on is the human influence on climate change and how permanent the climate change will be in the future. Lastly, I think that any solution brought to the table for climate change needs to be at a global level, not at a national level. What I mean by that is this. Let's say that we cripple US oil and natural gas production in the name of protecting the environment. Great, so we've protected the environment in our 50 states and in our sphere of influence. However, we're still purchasing oil and natural gas from someone else, in most cases somewhere in the Middle East or somewhere in China or Russia. Those places are not held to the same standards that we have now imposed on our companies. So now we were in a double lose scenario. We lost on the economic side, and we are still losing on the climate side because we have not protected the earth. We have only protected the earth in our 50 states, and we have continued to fund the damaging of the earth elsewhere in the world. So if we're going to impose any climate restrictions on production or on natural gas and energy, we need to do this in a global sense so that America is not the one footing the bill and still suffering the negative consequences.